All right, we're here with Coach David Dean ahead of the Miles game, second game of the year. West Georgia's 1-0 after beating Fort Valley State. Coach Dean will open up with a comment or two, and then he'll open up for questions.
Well, first off, I want to stand up here with a heavy heart and say that a guy that used to coach here with me at West Georgia and was a coach at Miles College, Tony Oglesby, is suffering through brain cancer right now and does not have very many days left to live. And I know that Miles and the University of West Georgia has heavy hearts as we go in and want to dedicate this game to Tony and his family and the suffering and the pain that they're going through. And we wish Tony and his family very well. Hate to start off on a sad note like that, but I think it's very important because he was such a vital part of our success here, coaching our defensive line and our linebackers, and he has done a great job at Miles College. So he's not able to coach this year, and we wish he and his family the best. But we're looking forward to another great game on Saturday. We know we're going to have a stiff competition. Miles played at FCS school, played them very well. You can tell that they're coached very well. They play very hard. Offensively, they have a lot of weapons. They're very good, very athletic on both sides of the football. And it's going to be a heck of a challenge for us. We're going to have to play well again. The one thing that I hope that we do is play 4 quarters, because that's what this is going to take. This is going to take a 4-quarter game to be able to withstand what they're going to bring to the table on Saturday night against us.
Coach, that message you just gave us, and I'm sure you've given to the team already, is that going to help keep the team level and grounded coming off a big win like this and going up against Miles?
Well, it will, because we know we didn't play our best. We know that we came out and we had spurts in the first half of playing very well, on both sides of the ball. And offensively and defensively in the second half, we sputtered a little bit. We gave up some big plays. We missed some tackles on defense. We missed some plays on offense, didn't execute the way that we did. So we know we got a lot to work on. And then if you flip over to special teams, we got a tremendous amount of work on special teams. We've got to punt the ball better. We've got to cover our kickoffs better. We got to clear up that field goal that was blocked. So there's a lot of things that I think when they look at that on film, they know that they're not playing perfect. They know that we got a lot of room for improvement. And I think from my standpoint of looking at what they have done this week, I think that they're taking that to heart, and I think they're making a gallant effort to improve on all those phases that we need to improve on.
Coach, Miles ran the ball 42 times in their game against Alcorn last week. Is their run game something that your defense is really keyed on, just in preparation?
Well, there's no question. If you can force teams to become one-dimensional on defense, then you have a chance to win. So you know that they go to a lot of 3-back sets and they're trying to run the football. So we're going to have to be very good against running. Fortunately for our defense, they faced that a lot this summer against us. Not a lot of 3-back stuff, but they faced a lot of runs. And, hopefully we'll be up for the challenge. And then, be smart on the back end, not getting caught looking in the backfield on play action fakes and getting beat over the top, because I know that they'll probably pull that out this week. That's something that they're going to have in their game plan to take advantage of some things and try to go over the top. But our main goal, yes, is we got to stop the run. That's what they're going to rely on, and if we can stop the run and force them to become one-dimensional, we got a lot better opportunity to be successful.
Coach Justin Hardy, that main rusher for Miles College, I believe he had 120 yards. Is he going to be the main focus for you guys to stop when it comes to the run game?
Well, there's no question. Whenever you get over 100 yards rushing, you know that you got to stop that guy. But they got a lot of weapons, and I think that's one thing. If you try to solely take that guy away, they have other guys that they can go to. So yes, we understand what he can do, but we understand what those other guys are capable of doing as well.
Coach, last week Miles scored twice off plays with at least 45 yards. How are you game planning to stop their quick strike ability?
Well, that's that again. We got to play our keys. We got to tackle well. And that's one thing that they did a great job of last week was breaking tackles. They're very elusive. They got great athletes. And, in the second half, we didn't tackle as well as we should have. So that has been an area of concern for our defense. It's something that we have addressed this week. We've taken a lot of a lot of work and a lot of time into doing that. And if we can hem those guys up, run to the football, and kind of corral them and keep them from having those broken tackles and making those big runs, then we're going to eliminate those long runs that they got. And the one thing that they will do, and you could see it last week when they got those big plays, they begin to get momentum in the game, and hopefully we're not going to allow them to be able to do that.
Coach, jumping to the offensive side of the ball, Miles gave up three backs over 100 yards rushing. So Alcorn State had over 300. They had 3 backs that had over 100 rushing yards. So are you confident in your running game this week?
Well, we always want to feel like we're confident, but we don't know what they're going to do. They're good coaches. They're going to go in and they're going to make some adjustments to things that they did and what they saw and what they didn't do well last week, and improve on those. They're going to see what we did on film, and they're going to try and take those things away. So it's going to be a good challenge for us. But, from my standpoint, we still got to be able to run the ball. I love to throw the football, but if we can't run the football, we become one-dimensional. We're not very good. So we're going to have to, again, be balanced, hopefully, again, and be able to run the football and get our backs loose out onto the perimeter and up the middle. The one thing we've got to do a better job of from our running back position, we ran the ball well last week, but we missed some holes. And we had some opportunities to make bigger plays, and we didn't do that. And that's something that we got to correct this week.
Coach DeAndre Gardenhire named GSE Freshman of the Week. He led your team with tackles versus Fort Valley State. Just describe how big he was in his first outing.
Well, it was awfully good to see, number one, he'd get the recognition that he deserved. He had a great, outstanding football game, playing his first football game for us. I think he was a force to be reckoned with, and I think he's only going to get better. You imagine that was just his first college experience. He's going to get better for us. He's very athletic. He's not the biggest guy in the world on that defensive line, but he's very athletic and he's hard to block. So hopefully he's going to continue to improve. I think if you ask him, he's going to tell you there's a lot of guys around him that gave him the opportunity to be that good and get those accolades that he got. But they're well deserved because he played hard. He's got a great attitude going out every day to practice, and that's one of the reasons that he is so successful on Saturday is because of his work ethic and what he carries to practice every single day.
Coach, with the week 1 jitters out the way, what are you hoping to learn from your football team this week?
Well, like the first week, consistency. Playing 4 quarters, eliminating a lot of mistakes, being much better on special teams. I was really disappointed in our special teams and how we performed. Giving up 2 big runs on the kickoffs, and then having a blocked kick, and then not getting punts the way that we need to, and we got to get some returns. We got to flip field position. Special teams is so important in a game that it can flip, number one, field position, but it also creates a lot of momentum, and we never really got that Thursday night. But the other thing, like I say, is just correct the mistakes that we made, understand what we did. I'm really interested to see how much coaching our guys took from the film and see if we corrected those mistakes and can carry those up from week to week.
To piggyback on that, the Wolves had 10 penalties against Fort Valley State. How are you planning to place an emphasis on a cleaner game?
Well, we did that in the first week, and again, it was just mental mistakes. We had several false starts. I think 2 or 3 of those were caused by them jumping and we moved, and that's just that's a deal where the officials kind of could go either way with it. So some of those could have come against us, but we had too many holding calls. We got to keep our hands. We got to use our feet a lot better than we did last week and not get those holding calls, and we got to eliminate those penalties that cost you the 5 yards and put you in 1st and 15 or 2nd and 12 and those type things, because you're not going to be successful when you do that. So we've addressed that. We don't make a huge emphasis on it where it just bottles down their mind, but they understand the importance of not making penalties and hurting ourselves and forcing us to have to make those yards up every single drive.
Coach, you were talking about last week after the game how many substitutions you were able to make both on offense and defense. Are you putting an emphasis on that again, being able to make more substitutions?
Well, there's no question. If you want to get where you want to be, which is playing in a national championship in December, you're looking at probably 15, maybe 16 games you're not going to be able to play those same guys the entire season. And at some point, knock on wood, you are going to lose somebody. You better have somebody that can step up and play behind them and not have their first experience coming in when those guys get hurt. So for us, we're going to continue to do that. We played a lot of guys really before we put in all of the extra guys. We played a lot of guys. A lot of the guys that played at the end of the game played early in the game. And that's just valuable experience. And again, that's going to help us as we progress through the season to possibly game 8 or 9, we're still fresh because we're not taking 70, 80 snaps a game. We're taking 25, 30, 35 snaps a game and spreading those out over a lot of different guys.
Coach Willie Candler showed a lot of poise and a lot of leadership last week. Talk a little bit about what he did as a quarterback and what you saw on film.
Well, early in the game he was pressing a little bit. You could see in some of his throws he wasn't quite crisp enough on some of his throws. And he came off after we got down in the red zone one time and I just grabbed him and said, look, just relax. You've got the ability. You got great people around you. You don't have to make every single play. Just relax and let the game flow. And I think he took that to heart, and I think he kind of settled down a little bit. And once he made that big throw to Tommy over the middle and we had the big play, I think he began to settle down a little bit. But he made some great decisions for us. And from starting in the first ball game as many times as we threw the ball, I think we threw it 27 times and maybe had 5 other times that we had passes called that he ran the ball. We had no turnovers from the passing game, and that's important when you can do that, especially when you're trying to throw the ball. And that was great decision making on his part. And then other times not forcing it. He tucked the ball, he ran, he got positive yardage on some things. So if he can continue to do that and continue to improve, I think it's going to take our offense to another level.
Coach, Travis Custis got the start last week. Does he get the start again, or does Devontae get the nod this week?
No, we're planning on starting Travis again. Travis, I think, earned the opportunity to start once again. He had an outstanding football game, did some good things for us. Are things that he needs to improve on, but you still are going to see that 1-2 punch. Those guys are both going to be able to play a good bit, and hopefully they're going to play as well as they did last week, and then step up and improve some and see some things a little bit better in that run game. But Travis will be the starter on Saturday night.
Coach, were you pleased with how many turnovers you had? 2 turnovers, I believe, defensive-wise. Were you pleased with the defense being able to make turnovers?
Well, anytime you're positive in a turnover ratio, then you've had a good night. And we left some out on the field. We had a couple of fumbles that we didn't get. We had a couple of interception opportunities that we didn't get. And hopefully we'll capitalize on those this week and moving forward. But again, the key is from an offensive standpoint, not turning the ball over, not putting our defense in tough situations and making them have an extra drive that they have to defend. The one thing that I will say about our defense is they're going to fly around to the football. And when you do that, you create turnovers. When the ball squirts loose, if you've got a lot of guys around it, your possibilities and your chances, your percentages of getting those fumbles is going to increase. And we're going to continue to do that. And, of course, in the secondary, we just got to make those catches. And I got on to Montreal one time. I said, man, you got to come do some ball drills with us. You've had a couple of opportunities for interceptions. We got to get you to hang on to that ball and get you more interceptions. So, again, I think we're going to create some turnovers by what we do. On the flip side, we just got to do a good job of hanging on to the football offensively.